The delegates of this 2021 Internet Governance Forum, the organizers of the virtual sessions, and the UNESCO and European Commission partners who have come together to lead this thematic session, I bring you warm Blue Pacific greetings. On behalf of the Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum, it is my distinct pleasure as Deputy Secretary General to make these remarks in respect of our regional framework and some lessons this may provide for an international multi-stakeholder framework for digital communication companies to promote media and information literacy. For the Pacific, home to the world's largest ocean states and some of its most vulnerable islands, access to digital literacy, let alone media and information literacy, is a key, ongoing, and still emerging facet of the work of the Forum and other international or regional organizations, not just at the technical and policy level, but at the very heart of how we deliver. The impact of our work rests in large on how well we keep our Pacific people informed and engaged in all aspects of our technical support and delivery to all our communities. Indeed, I am pleased to report that the e-commerce, digital trade, and equitable access to opportunities through these and other sectors and issues that are being considered as part of the development of our 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent. Securing a bright and prosperous future for all Pacific people rests firmly on universal values such as these. Ensuring citizens are informed and engaged in the decisions and policies developed in their collective interest is smart, strategic, and sustainable. It is an ongoing principle which guides our strong partnerships with media stakeholders in our Forum member countries. Essentially, the importance of the Internet to social development goes hand in hand with its importance to economic, cultural, and regional development. In 2020, the Forum trade ministers endorsed a Pacific Aid for Trade strategy to 2025. E-commerce, comprehensive connectivity, and quality infrastructure work streams are some of the most driven areas of our work for our Pacific nations, keen to drive their own recovery in ways that work for their people and with the resources they have. Yes, the COVID pandemic has decimated economies and livelihoods. It's delivering some permanent, transformative lessons on how we work and how our member nations work. Much of that learning is still emerging. And for many of us, it's been a time of rediscovery. The onus on communications that are timely and relevant for Pacific people has always been there. It will always be there. But the way we communicate is changing and will continue to evolve. The challenge is ensuring access, and as we have seen with COVID-19, maintaining relevance, timeliness, and utility. For the Pacific, Partners for Recovery provide lessons for the subject matter at hand. Flexibility and innovation must be cornerstones of any approaches to build sustainable stakeholder partnerships for Internet governance. In addition, for the Pacific, we have learned that digital and online opportunities and challenges exist in equal measure. And it is important for any global multiple stakeholder partnership coming to this region to develop very keen and intentional listening skills. We are doing just that as part of a Drivers of Change strategy, which is in its final year of a 24-month development and listening process. It's allowed us to learn more from the people experiencing what is driving change in our corner of the world. It's helping us to keep on top of the factors driving the emergence of e-commerce and Pacific trade. The ongoing consultations and development of the 2050 strategy will build on regional work in the area of information and communication technologies. But the primary challenge remains the enabling environment, and you are well aware of this. High cost and resource constraints, limited capacity, infrastructure, data and access challenges were part of the context for our Pacific Forum ICT ministers formally recognizing the potential of ICT in global and regional development for more than a decade. As far back as 2015, the Pacific Forum leaders endorsed a regional ICT strategic action plan to 2020. The plan has a regional working group of stakeholders chaired by the University of the South Pacific. As part of the ICT working group, the forum provides ongoing policy guidance. A key takeaway for us has been the recognition of coordination, collective voice, and collaboration. These three words set the key approach of the Pacific ICT Working Group. Goal 9 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, along with Goal 17 on partnerships for implementation, has also provided an important impetus for efforts so far and will continue to do so. Our next biennial report on the Pacific implementation of SDGs is due in 2022 and will likely feature mentions of our ICT working group members and the ways that they have advanced principles of digital inclusion and cooperation that is aligned to Pacific sustainable development priorities and realities. As I have mentioned earlier, the partnerships for impact, resourcing, and implementation are a solid part of this reporting, and we are thankful to our dialogue partners and key development partners, including Australia, New Zealand, the European Union, and others. And we anticipate that partnership to continue in the short and medium term, given the critical importance of digital transformation and its impacts across all parts of development. To conclude, I will come back to the core of my remarks to you today, and it's to remind all of us that while we are working through the challenges I have outlined earlier, in order to realize the transformative economic and commercial opportunities in this space, our most precious resource for the Blue Pacific is people. Our secret to sustainability is collective strength and working as one. The strongest advice I can share with you when it comes to developing those multi-stakeholder relationships across the globe to ensure the goals of digital media and information literacy are met is that connectivity is nothing unless it connects people to people and opens up new frontiers and opportunities for their mutual benefit. Whether we are talking about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, e-commerce and digital entrepreneurs, and our 2050 strategy for our Blue Pacific future, we will continue to keep people as our core resource. And the value we place on people-to-people connection will continue to inform the priority for digital connectivity. I wish you all the best, and I thank you.